Hello, everyone. Welcome to one and all present here for this webinar, which is conducted on plagiarism, editing, and proofreading. So, we are here for one another webinar. I know it has been conducted after a long time, so a very happy new year to all those who are here with us from different parts of the world. Hi, Sanchok. So let us have more people joined with us. Good evening, Indira. Good evening, Sanchok again. So, yes, I am here with you from Melbourne. People are here from India as well, from different other parts of the world as well. Hello, Karthik. So, today we are going to talk about plagiarism, editing, and proofreading. And I think this is something really, you know, it, an important topic of concern. Not only today, but of lately, this has taken a momentum of the course and have gained important importance in academics, in research, particularly when you have various sources of researchers, which ones to imply upon, which ones to uh, trust upon. It's really very difficult to go ahead with. So with this webinar we will be trying and we'll be looking forward to actually paying attention to each one of them aspect, like plagiarism, and how to go ahead, how to come across that aspect, how to get away with it by editing and proofreading. Hello everyone. Atendra, Shobna, Himanshu, Adam, and Ashwini. And it's really nice to see all of you in yet another year with Research Graduate, that is 2025. So let us start with our webinar today. So here we are. Like I said, yet another with research graduate. So as we all know, that I can see that we all are a family with the research graduate, and we know about research graduate that it is a one-stop solution for all your research queries like topic selection, research proposal writing, review paper writing, research paper writing, and your dissertation writing. So, just in case you are struggling with anything which is flashing on your screen, any roadblocks you are witnessing, any concern of yours which you are having right now, please feel free to get back to Research Graduate. And how will you do that? Please feel free to get connected with the team with the email ID of info@researchgraduate.com, and the number is flashing on your screen. You can also browse Research Graduate at researchgraduate.com. All right. So, it's better not to waste time than to get in touch with the right people at the right time, right? All right. Coming back to the webinar today. So, as you all know, that we generally connect with each other for 90 minutes of the duration. That is, the presentation from my side will go across 90 minutes, followed by the question and answers that last for 30 minutes. So, that's generally not time bounded. Our question and answers round is not generally time bounded. That can go beyond 30 minutes. And when it comes to your takeaways after this webinar, so your PPTs, your recordings, your certificates will be the takeaways, and that will be on your registered email ID. So make sure that you are registered with the correct email IDs with you use regularly. Okay. And last but not the least, plus very important thing, that is, I would request that all of you, if you can increase your video quality on YouTube to 720p, so that all of you can have a very good experience, right? Especially to the ones who have joined us with their devices, that is phone devices, because a small screen can give you a glitchy experience. All right. Now, this was from my side. And when I say my side, many of you know me very well. Those who don't, myself, Dr. Renu Mission, I am joining you from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a management educationist from past 14 years, and I'm here working in Melbourne as a management lecturer with a couple of universities. To name a few, that is RMIT and University of Tasmania. I am working with research graduate as well. I'm associated with them as their freelance research expert from past 2 years, more than 2 years from now. All right. So let us begin with today's topic, that is plagiarism and editing. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a minute. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So when we talk about plagiarism, editing, proofreading, basically all this comes um, with one word, that is ethics. When we into academics, we were just rounding off our academic year. That was in 2024. We just round off in here in Melbourne in December. We just wrapped up before our Christmas holidays. So there was a lot of discussion on academic integrity. Okay, that how students are actually coming up with a lot of AI generated assignments, with a lot of assignments which they have not generated themselves, or they have taken help from foreign bodies. When I say foreign bodies, so those who give them help for generating assignments. So basically the crux of these discussions were that how they are violating research ethics, how they are violating ethics which are prevalent in research fraternity, academic fraternity. Now, the questions which all of us as a faculty, which we actually asked from each other, was that is it actually known to all these students that do they are aware of the fact that is this term called research ethics is prevalent somewhere, is applicable somewhere, it is applicable in their academics somewhere. When we say that research ethics or violating of research ethics or academic integrity. So my point is, or we all faculty were asking to each other, that we talk about these heavy words which are known to each other. Our question was that is our students aware of these things? So the answer, which was shocking, or rather I should say that shocking to a level to each other one of us, was no. Because we have never deliberately told them that you are violating research ethics. We just talk about plagiarism, we just talk about deducting marks, we just talk about academic integrity. We never talked about research ethics. So today, for today's webinar, I was actually looking forward to talk to you all for research ethics also, because in this platform, I actually interact with scholars. You and me are on a platform which is primarily laid on a foundation of research. Somebody is on a verge of completing their PhD. Somebody is on a verge of entering into a PhD. Somebody is pursuing their journey of PhD. So somewhere or the other, you or me, now I am into process of writing papers. So you and me are connected with a thread called research. We all should know that how research ethics are actually connected, or is that one common connection between all of us? And plagiarism, editing, proofreading comes through it. Okay, so let's go ahead with it and let's understand basically. So, when you talk about research ethics, basically, research ethics, as I just said, that off lately it has gained momentum. Because earlier, to be very honest, when I did my PhD, it was a decade back when I started my PhD. Okay, it was honestly not a taboo. It was not that discussion, or that, my PhD was a 0% plagiarism. And I was so sure that, okay, fine. Even if there will be a plagiarism, there'll be hardly 1 or 2%. We never used to be so scared of getting a high plagiarism, because we were so sure about our work, because AI were never there. Okay, so AI plagiarism was out of concern all the time. And other kind of plagiarism also, we used to take care by editing, and that was a self editing, self proofreading. And so we were very sure that 0% plagiarism is a very much attainable target. Okay, so we were very much sure that we can do this. So research ethics, violating research ethics, was not much of a discussion as much as they are now. Okay, so understanding research ethics, if I make you do that in a nutshell, it is basically when you break some sort of rules which are set up by institutions, some sort of universities, bodies. There are some sort of academic arrangements according to which you need to submit your work. Okay, they are research ethics. Simple, very simple. Okay, now research ethics basically make you liable, make you obliged to do your work according to a set guidelines. Okay, they are basically the norms formulated that your work should be submitted, your work should be performed based on these guidelines. Very simple. Avoiding plagiarism is one such guideline. One such guideline. I'm telling you, one such. There are many other which are different as on the basis of institution to institution. Okay. So understanding, this is a broad understanding about research ethics, which I can tell you for the time being. Okay. These research ethics are applied to all the research institutions, be it public or private in nature. Okay, so basically, why these research ethics are in point? So that your work is original, can be trustworthy, there is no conflict. Okay, it is impartial work, it is integral work, original work, trustworthy work. It is it the work which can be taken as a social responsibility. Okay, now why, you know you understand this way, I'll make it more easy for you. When you write a paper and you make that paper ready for publishing in a journal, okay, if you are considering, let's say, ABDC journals, A category, or Scopus, good category journals, or Web of Science, good category journals, these kind of journals, they have very set or very strong research ethical guidelines to be followed by you as an author while writing that piece of research, so that they as a journal can ensure that your paper is original, trustworthy, your results are impartial, they are independent, they are, they are pure results of dissemination of the result research which you have been carried out by you. So that's why you see that only a handful of research papers, or you say that in our layman language, the quality research paper makes their way for their publishing. Very clear, because they have followed all the research ethics. These research ethics are being followed throughout the process of being publishing, research writing. It's not that I'm done with my research, then I'm following my ethics. No, even if, let's say, for example, I am collecting my data, so keeping my sample respondents, privacy, their identity anonymous, it is following research ethics. That's a guideline, that unless and until your sample, your respondents give their consent to reveal their identity, You cannot reveal their identity in your research, be it an organization, be it an individual respondent. This way, you are following a research ethics. Okay, so throughout the research process, throughout conducting the research process, you need to follow these ethical guidelines. Okay, okay. So when you talk about these research ethics, they range from integrity, respecting your respondents, following the rules, to ethical practices, moral principles, confidentiality, beneficence, honesty, everything. Now, you know, now you see that there are so many ethics to follow. So if you are following each one of them, I would say that if you are following majority of them, I am sure that by the end of your research, you are bound to give a quality research. Okay, all right, let's move ahead. Now, when you talk about academic writing ethics, okay, so firstly, understand when you talk about scientific writing is basically when you put all the information, you put it in the form of a report, and it is ready to be used by other people. When the ethical problem arise when there is a disconnection between the writing activity by you as an author, and the actual research they have done. Now understand, you have done a research, you have done a scientific research. So there is a disconnection between what you have done and what you are writing. For example, fabrication of data, fabrication of results. You are getting a decimal difference in your data collection. But just to make your results more attractive, you fabricate the data. That's when ethical problems come. To make it easy for the people who are not from the science background, I'll take them to the school days. I'm sure titration is the one experiment which all of us have done in their school days, be it a science student or be it not. So titration is was that purple color experiment, which I'm sure most of us remember that experiment as getting that perfect purple color in our experiments. So we used to take that reading in our chemistry labs. So our purpose was mature for majority of the students. The purpose was that many of us never used to understand the purpose of it and when to get the right reading. Many of us used to understand that when this perfect purple color comes, that's the reading. We never knew that unintentionally we are fabricating the data. Actually, that okay, this is the perfect purple. This is the point where we need to take the data. We are fabricating the data. That's what the example is. That we are doing something else, but okay, my friend said that 5.5 is the perfect purple color reading. Okay, I'm writing 5.5. So actually, my reading is 6.8, but I'm writing 5.5 just to make my results more lucrative. That's what is ethical problem. Okay, so that's where ethical problem comes. So also, when you talk about academic writing ethics, you need to see that how you can avoid plagiarism. That's I will talk about it. You need to write a report which is more of accurate, which is unbiased, patient confidentiality. If you are working on a scientific study, patient confidentiality, the non-science background can understand the sample confidentiality. I just had a word about it, that if you are collecting data from your sample, so how you can ensure or how you should ensure that you cannot reveal their identity without their consent. Okay, not writing too many papers from a research study. I mean, this question I got from too many scholars, that I have a PhD thesis ready. Can I publish papers from that now on? I mean, and we as a faculty failed to make them understand that See, that's a research in itself which is ready to be published. We are not saying that you cannot publish paper out of it. Understand my point. We are not saying that you cannot publish paper out of it, but using the same data again and again for too many, understand, mark my word, for too many research paper is not ideal. That's called salami publication. Okay. And not failing to actually write up and publish a reviewed journal. You need to focus a peer reviewed journal. See, these gray journals, the one who asks for your money and then they promise to publish. You don't know who are the publications, and then they give you that we are indexed there, and then they are indexed nowhere, right? Just avoid them to get your paper to be submitted. Your paper is a quality one, but don't waste them by submitting anywhere. Okay? All right. Now comes the hero of this webinar. Before jumping directly on this topic, I would like to take your attention before it. There is one feature on our desktop on the keypad, cut, copy, paste, and we are so used to it that anything which you want to, okay, CCP, cut, copy, paste, cut, copy, paste. Plagiarism is actually a byproduct of it. Baby of cut, copy, paste. You just do it, cut, copy, paste. AI is also doing that only. AI has a set information. AI has a reservoir of knowledge. Whatever information is being filled in it, it uses that information and it gives you that only, right? That means that information has published somewhere, has been quoted somewhere. That's why that information has been given to you. So the already published information is being given to you. Obviously, it is going to give you plagiarism. So plagiarism is, firstly, plagiarism has many twins. So first, understand the concept. First concept I told you, when you just cut, copy, paste. Don't look out the screen, even if it is not visible to you, doesn't matter. First is cut, copy, paste. Okay, doesn't matter. Second is, okay, I change the language. First was cut, copy, paste. I give the person's name also. Okay, that plagiarism, clear plagiarism. Second, I changed the language, but I did not give person's name because I changed the language. Again, plagiarism. Okay. So when you are taking somebody else's information, somebody else's idea, that's plagiarism. And you are not acknowledging the person. So even if you are, now you say that I acknowledge the person. Now my question was, did you change the language? You will say that no, plagiarism. Okay. So you changed the language, but you did not give the acknowledgement, plagiarism. You do not change the language, you give the acknowledgement, plagiarism. Okay. Now let's gauge on it what's there on the screen. Plagiarism primarily occurs, like I said, when I'm using somebody else's work. When I say somebody else's work, it is in the form of the language, idea, whatever the somebody else's work is being in the form of. Okay. Without acknowledging the source. Now here, I am adding one more thing, with or without adding. So I am taking somebody's work and I am quoting his name. That will come into plagiarism. Okay. One thing. I told you that if I'm changing the language and I'm quoting somebody's name, I'm changing the language and I'm quoting somebody's name. That will avoid plagiarism. But where you cannot change the language, two things. First is, if there is a definition, if there is a definition written somewhere, you cannot change the definition. Okay. So the four, let's say somebody is defining force. Force is a push or a pull, right? So the definition is like that only. The force is a push or pull. You can't change the definition written by an author. So you present that text into inverted commas, followed by the author's detail. You cannot change that. All right. Second thing which you cannot change, the quotes said by some authors or some personalities. If you are making the use of some quotes which are being discussed in some papers and you are making use of those quotes in your paper, in your material, you can't change those quotes. Okay, those quotes need to be taken as it is. That's why it is being suggestive that when you are writing your research body, try not to take too many definitions. I'm saying too many. I'm saying these for research papers. Try not to make use of too many definitions and too many of quotes, because you can't you can't proofread them, you can't rephrase them. Eventually, it will reflect in your plagiarism. Okay. All right. Now, coming to the different questions which are associated with plagiarism. So, if you copy the content but cite the source, is it plagiarism? So, I already told you, yes, it is plagiarism. And this I have already explained, that if the original quote is being quoted in inverted commas, you need to avoid conflict. It should be definition. If unless and until it's a definition, you can't change it. It should be in the inverted commas. Is it plagiarism if I copy my own content? Definitely yes. If you have your paper published couple of years back, couple of months back, and you think that the content in that paper is of my use now for my next research, and let me take some content from that paper, and let me have some material from that. And since it is my paper, why to acknowledge it? I'm okay with not acknowledging my own content. It is plagiarism, because you are not you for that paper. You are a author. You are XYZ author. You are taking XYZ's author material for your paper. So you have to give acknowledgement to yourself, not as yourself, but as an author in your current study from your previous study. If you don't do that, it's called as self plagiarism. And who don't want to see his or her own name in his or her own research paper, right? It feels really good. Last but not the least, that is it plagiarism if I substitute few words? Yes. I'll give you the examples also later. See, substituting and rephrasing is a difference. You just substitute few words means just change one or two words from the original content, doesn't get away, doesn't get you away with the plagiarism. You actually need to make sure that you are rephrasing the content. You need to make sure that you are rephrasing the content by restructuring the language. So I'm sure that by for now that you all have understand that what is plagiarism and what is different types of it, what are the different siblings of plagiarism. Okay, now let's move ahead. Some true and false about plagiarism. Plagiarism harmless? Of course not. Who said so? If it's wrong, if I do it accidentally, oh my god, is it something like accidental plagiarism also? If you review, it is not plagiarism. It is indeed. If you don't have to cite your own work, I just said that you have to. Plagiarism is all about how much you plagiarize. No. Now, something which is true about plagiarism: plagiarism can affect your academic standard. Absolutely. Plagiarism can actually lead to rejecting your own work. Journals outrageously reject the publication of your work. Trust me, they do that. You must cite the work regardless you have altered it. Yes, it is self plagiarism. You require citing. Obviously, the amount of plagiarism does not matter. Yes, but in one case, certain cases like certain universities, for thesis, they allow certain percentage of plagiarism which is permissible, like 5%, 8%, 10%. In certain universities, for the assignments, they even allow 20%. So you need to just give a check from your university that how much plagiarism is permissible from your institution. Okay. Okay. Why we need to concerned about plagiarism? Okay. Now this question is something which I don't think so needs to be answered. You yourself must be well aware about it. See, firstly, it definitely alters your academic integrity. Okay. There are far more much developed softwares. Okay. I told you the journals outrageously, completely reject your work to be published. Universities, they completely, because when you submit your work, the final work, I'm talking about the PhD work, one final plagiarism check runner is being run on your work, just to give a final check that how much plagiarism you have. So if it's beyond the final limit, you need to control it. Okay. Obviously, if it is happening with you, if somebody else is taking the credit, you don't like it here. And plagiarism in simple language, it has been called as cheating. And let's say, me as a faculty, if I tell you, we punish plagiarism, or we say plagiarism, or we count plagiarism into an academic misconduct act. We punish the student by reduction of marks, and they can go as low as 50 to 60%. So you can imagine that losing 50 to 60% marks can actually cost you a semester. Okay. So yes, you need to concern about plagiarism. Okay. All right. So let's have an eye on what are the types of plagiarism. So firstly is deliberate plagiarism. As the name itself says a lot about it, that the plagiarism which is very common, wherein you intentionally shows somebody else's work as yours. Okay. Examples, I think there's some slight glitch in the slide here, but in your PDF it is clearly when you are simply quoting somebody else's work as yours without acknowledging the author's name. Okay. Patchwork plagiarism, as the name again says, patchwork. You know, when the cloth is torn, you paste some patches, right? Similarly, here, it involves the patchwork plagiarism involves that you taken some patches from here and there, from multiple sources. You are taking a couple of words from here, a couple of words from here, and you are making it look like a work. Okay. And you are sometimes showing it as on your own, and sometimes you are showing the entire work as some one particular author. So basically patchwork plagiarism is like that you are taken work or some words from different authors and decide to make one piece of word, and you give one author's name to that entire work. That's patchwork plagiarism. Okay. Then comes bluffing. Bluffing is basically that you have done the review for various books, journals you have read, cases you have read. and you have note down some key ideas that these journals, these books are saying this, although they are saying something different. But let's say, for example, you are talking about change, organizational change. So on organizational change, you have read some different kind of books, some 10 odd books you have read, some 10 odd articles you have read. They all are talking about different aspect of change, but in gist they all meant the same thing. Okay, so when basically you are deliberately in bluffing, you are basically deliberately, you are using the different content of all these journals and books, and you are using your own idea. Now understand this thing, the content is this, and you are using your own word, and you are using your own ownership. This is bluffing. So this is slightly slightly complicated kind of plagiarism. Now in this you are applying your brain. Now you will say that this is kind of rephrasing also, but here you are not giving the credit to the original authors. Okay, all right. Now moving ahead, paraphrasing, as I told you. Now paraphrasing can be a plagiarism also, and paraphrasing is shortly a way to get away with plagiarism too. Now how paraphrasing varies, you're not completely rephrasing, you're just substituting the few words. That is a type of plagiarism. Okay, patchwork plagiarism, I already told you. Mosaic plagiarism, basically it is one of the very common kind of plagiarism, where you are using synonyms, where you're using synonym of the words and replacing the original ones. Okay, all right. Then comes your accidental plagiarism. Now accidental plagiarism is basically, now as the name itself suggests, the student does not do it intentionally, just the student by mistakenly, they just mistakenly used one author's with another one, or you neglect to cite one source, or unintentionally use some other author's name to some other author's work. It is all unintentionally, but it also falls into the umbrella of plagiarism. Inaccurate authorship, as the name itself says, that when you're using somebody else's work and you are crediting somebody else's to that. Okay, self plagiarism is, as I told you, when you are failing to give yourself the credit to your own work into some other work of yours. Okay, all right. Okay, now see, that's why I told you plagiarism word is just very simple, but it has different siblings. So which one we are committing, it is very hard to know. So it is very important, slightly difficult also. When I say slightly, actually it is slightly, because if you are careful enough while, firstly, while literature review and while writing literature review, that how you are actually writing it, because maximum plagiarism comes into the chapter of literature review. For, I'm particularly saying for PhD scholars, your maximum plagiarism comes under this chapter. So if you are careful enough, if you are just applying your understanding while writing this chapter, I'm sure your plagiarism can be reduced, plagiarism can be in control, and you can have a strong control over your, or you can actually check your plagiarism. So literature review chapter should be kept in check. Okay, so next is contributing author plagiarism. So it is very clear, as the name says it all. Either you are not crediting an author or the editor who contribute to the work. So basically, see, understand. Let's say you are working with two, three authors, okay? One is conducting literature, one is collecting data, one is analyzing. One author is basically editing your whole paper. So he or she is neither a part of data collection nor a part of literature review. They're just collecting data. Sorry, editing the paper. You don't credit that author. That is also contributing author plagiarism, because that author was also a part of your team. Okay, that also is called as contributing author plagiarism. Okay, so if you and your partners, when I say partner, it's more than two, three people are working together, because in case of two authors, it is clear. But if case of more than two authors, sometimes you may don't want to give credit to second or third author or third and fourth author. That is contributing author plagiarism. Okay. Aggregated plagiarism is a paper does not have to be a word for word copy of another word to be plagiarism. Obviously, you need not to have a complete replica, but if you are using certain level of same ideas, if let's say for example, if you read a paper, if you come across a journal article, and if you like that idea and you say that I need to write in the same idea, that's called as aggregated plagiarism. Similar idea paper. So now imagine, avoiding plagiarism is easy, understanding these all plagiarism can slightly be tricky, and avoiding them is better. Okay, then come outline plagiarism. Outline plagiarism is basically based on the structure of the paper. When you copy the structure of the paper as yours. Okay, bibliography plagiarism is when you use the bibliography of one paper into yours. That's called bibliography plagiarism. Okay. Okay, now how to identify plagiarism in a given written material. See, now why it is important to identify plagiarism into a given material. Now, the list of XYZ plagiarism, more than 8 to 10 plagiarism I have given you the list of. I think it has given considerable understanding in all of you to understand what are the different kind of plagiarisms we have with us. It will give you a better understanding to how to avoid plagiarism with you when you are writing your piece of research. Okay, now next question comes, how to identify plagiarism in a given written material. Let's say you are coming across a paper which you need to review for your own research. So firstly, you need to see that is there any kind of spelling mistake, grammatical error, is there any kind of outdated material which has been used, is there any kind of literature which is too old or too new. Okay, spelling errors are there, what kind of language the author has used, if is there any kind of sudden change in the language orientation. Every author has a style of language. So if there any kind of change in that style in the language, just be mindful of that. Okay. Okay, now see, since we have spoken about the plagiarism, so it's very important for all of us to know that is there any kind of software also that can help us to check plagiarism. So what I have shown to you, these are the plagiarism software which are free. Now these plagiarism software, these are free basically for initial days, then they may ask you for certain kind of subscription later. Okay, but initially they are free, so you can actually check that how much plagiarism is there with you. Now I have also given some plagiarism checker tools for you, which are AI plagiarism checkers tools for you, which are AI based plagiarism checkers. Okay, now these are very important because today's world we have AI generated text with us. Even many a times we take help of AI. So if we are taking help of AI, how to make sure that our work is AI free, AI plagiarism free? So what I have done in that, let's say for example, copy leaks. What copy leaks does is, copy leaks is basically AI based plagiarism checker tool that scan text for potential plagiarism against a database of online academic sources. It will tell you that what all academic content from any academic source, this content has been taken in this particular piece of research. Okay, rest all these softwares are similarly on the same platform. Okay, so these will help you to check and keep an eye in your content. If your content has a AI base, like just in case if you guys are using AI, which I strongly suggest that you should minimize it or you should even avoid it. But if you're doing it, then please use either one of our software to keep an eye on the software can tell you what is the percentage of that AI plagiarism. Then accordingly you can paraphrase it. I will tell you the software also to fix plagiarism. Paraphrasing, for paraphrasing also I'll tell you the softwares for it. Okay, now how actually we can use these softwares for detection for the plagiarism. It's very easy. um Mr. Demgel, if there is no sound, I think you can check your own system for it. Firstly, you have to go for the search bar and type for the domain for any online free plagiarism checker, like I have given you. And then you have to download the software for yourself. Okay. Now you need to upload your own file. Okay. So the file should be in this format. Okay. Then it will take certain minutes to give you the results of it. Basically the results look like this. Okay, this is a result from a software of Turnitin. Turnitin. So that's another software. Okay, now Turnitin is a slightly more commonly used software. It is more technical also. When I say technical, it is complicated. And it is very widely used by university. And it gives you very uh, detailed analysis. It gives you very detailed results, like for example, which you can see in your screens, that what all sources has been taken from what all places, how much is the content. So when you plus all of them, this gives you total percentage of your plagiarism. Okay. Okay, now this is from Grammarly, the software which I told you. This is the result which has been Grammarly. So this is showing 91% of plagiarism. Okay, so let's say this software actually underlines your content which has been plagiarized. Okay, so this has been plagiarized. For example, 58% of your text matches the source. Okay, so this section will give you the source from where your content is matching from. Okay, so the previous one, this is the results is from Turnitin, this is from Grammarly. So this way your plagiarism results comes in. Okay, I think let's go ahead with the break. Now we understand what is plagiarism. We know the plagiarism softwares also. We understood the plagiarism report also. We just, what do we saw? This is plagiarism report. Okay. Now, let's fix the problem. Problem is plagiarism. Now that's time to fix the problem. Okay. Now, firstly, you need to understand that when you want to fix the problem of plagiarism, how to start with it. Before writing, you need to organize your work. You need to, because see, plagiarism first starts with when you do not cite your sources. So when you lose the track of your sources, when you don't know, when you see, when you are reviewing your literature, it starts messing up, starts right from there, especially to the ones who are doing their PhD and they are midst of their PhD. Even if they have done their literature review never leaves you. Okay. So when you are doing literature review, you think that, okay, I'll make note of these references later. So software like I'm just giving you in the comments, these are reference management software. Make use the softwares like these and manage your literature references. Okay. Manage it, organize them. Please do that. Okay. Keep track of your resources. It is very important. Which resource you are consulting, which reference you are taking, it is very important. You may not taking a note of it now, but you will be needing it later. You will be needing that source later because you need to cite their source, and failing to do so will eventually give you the plagiarism. Even if you rephrase it, but if you forget the source, it will give you the plagiarism. So it's very important for you to make note of it. If it is very important to make for you to be mindful of the sources. Okay. So keep track of your sources. Make the sources that you are using, they are in your reach, they are credible resources, they are trustworthy resources. For example, Google Scholar that I have listed is very useful resource for research, but Wikipedia, many of you rely upon, it is not at all a source of research, not at all. Please don't rely on the information which is being given on the Wikipedia. Okay. So firstly is to organize your sources. Then is avoid plagiarism when quoting. Second is that when you have a complete catch hold of your sources, then is the time to cite the sources. Okay. How to cite them? I have given the example also. You need to write the author's name. This is in text citation. Even this is not given. See, understand. If you have not given within the text citation and its complete citation is given end in the end text citation, complete bibliography is given, it will come into plagiarism because the software will take the plagiarism count within the text also. It will see that whether you have cited the source within the text or not. So within the text citation is very, very important. You have to make sure that you have cited like this. Okay. See, those who are not getting the video and the audio of the webinar, I'm sure that you need to see your uh, this thing, your system. That's what I'm saying, because I think for others now I have made the screen full screen. it is I would like to request others also if they are okay with the video and the audio. So once this citation is clear, then comes when you paraphrase well. Now understand, paraphrase is not by substituting the um, words. Okay, it's not like that you are just removing couple of words. It is like you're completely, you know, restructuring the language without changing its meaning. Without changing its meaning. Now understand, when I am saying you are just changing the language, you're not changing the meaning. Now for example, what I've written here is plastic hurts animal in lot of ways, many of which scientists are just starting to understand. When birds, fish, and other bigger animals swallow plastics, the substance can get tangled up inside their stomachs and cause harm. Plastic can also make animal feel artificially full so that cease eating. So this is an incorrectly paraphrased text. The original one is given to you, which is being cited within text citation. The incorrect paraphrase just have substitute the bold letters. That's it. Rest, the language is same as original. Now, the one which is paraphrased well is being like this. I'll give you a half a second for all of you to read it so that you better understand. Me reading it and then all of you reading it will give you a better impact. So here you can see that the meanings of this text, which is paraphrased well, the meaning of this text, which is original text, is same, cited well as well, but language is different. Okay, this is how you need to rephrase your content. Okay. Okay. Now here also I have given you another example of paraphrasing, which is more of an easier version for a better understanding for all of you. The original text is, now this one I will read it for all of you. The original text was text the task of engineer is to produce the correct product as the correct cost at the correct time, was by Fox 1977. Now, the paraphrased text says that Fox 1977 states that an engineer. Now, this word we can't replace because there are a couple of words. Now, always remember, you will say that later. Dr. Renu said that you need to change the complete language, but there are a couple of words which cannot be changed. Uh, which cannot be changed. Okay, and in this, engineer is one such. So states that an engineer needs to come up with the right product at the right time at a reasonable price. So just reshuffling of this structural thing, which changed terminology, has not changed the language, but has not changed the meaning, but has changed the language. That's called paraphrasing. Okay. Similarly, another one which says that if a product misses its window of opportunity, the manufacturer can lose up to 33% of the life cycle profits by Alder 2002. The paraphrasing content says that According to Alder 2002, or you can also see that Alder 2002 claims that 33% of profits can be lost if a product is not marketed correctly. So when I say marketed correctly, it is, completely saying that life cycle profit is profit, or manufacturer can lose up to, everything is coming into that. So it's all about how well you are communicating your meaning of the content which you are taking up with the right kind of language. Okay. Okay, now the step 3 towards your correcting plagiarism comes is that citing your source correctly. So in-text citation, as I told you already, should be, every time you quote or paraphrase, you must include in-text citation or footnote citation clearly. Clearly, it should come. Okay, there should be no left behind citation at any point in time. All right. Now, fourth step is check your work before you are submitting your work. Check it carefully. Any kind of accidental plagiarism, any kind of uh, spell checks, any kind of quotation mark, any kind of grammatical errors should not be there. Please run through the softwares which I have told you, or any other, and citations should be checked. See, citations makes you fall into the trap of plagiarism very, very, very easily. And now I am writing some sort of some commonly used softwares which can help you fixing your paraphrasing queries as well. Let me go to the chat box here. Quillbot. Now these softwares can help you with your paraphrasing. This paraphraser which I'm writing right now is actually free. Okay, Grammarly also helps you. Okay, so these all you can you can use for your paraphrasing. I did say that I will take the questions towards the end of it, but one questions have is been there, so let me take it very quickly. Can we write annotated bibliography if it has been asked to give you that you are supposed to give the annotated bibliography? Please give that. And those who do not know what is annotated bibliography basically is a bibliography where you give the brief description about the research background of the author, or whatever available research on the given topic is there. Okay, short paragraph which is summarizing the research topic. Okay, that is annotated bibliography, wherein, for example, full bibliographic citations you give, background of the author you give, the scope of the text you give, outline the main argument. So that is annotated bibliography. If it has been asked to give you, then you give. Shivansh, I have given you the softwares list. Okay, the rest of the questions I'll take you towards the end of the webinar. Okay. Okay, now comes how to avoid plagiarism. I have already given you a detailed analysis of it. I have given you some softwares of paraphrasing to you as well, which will definitely help you. However, uh, as an individual, what sort of steps you should take in order to avoid plagiarism? Firstly, you should cite your sources. That is something which nothing can be replaced. No paraphrasing, no editing can replace citing your source. You need to cite your source. As I told you that the most of the plagiarism you get is by not citing your sources. Okay, so citing your source is something which all the research scholars, all the researchers should have been done very clearly. Paraphrasing and summarizing should be clearly done, as I clearly told you with examples we have seen today, that which is the correct type of paraphrasing, which is the correct way of paraphrasing. uh, it is not just by merely substituting the words, it is not just by merely putting or changing words here and there. It is actually restructuring the entire sentence, plus not changing the meaning of it. Okay, plus you need to keep a track of your source. You can actually make your own folders, subfolders. Plus I have given you the softwares as well. Okay, do not cut copy paste, that's a thumb rule I think, and I don't think so that anybody now do the cut copy paste. But if anyone is doing even now, knowing all the pros and cons of it, please avoid doing it. Okay. Okay, now checklist which is to be followed for the prevention of plagiarism. uh, when using when someone is using exact words, and I have properly formatted them same as a quote, when someone is using the ideas. Okay, when I have included the in-text citation, so you need to check that you have formatted the words, you have formatted the ideas, you have included the in-text citations, you have included the bibliography. If it has been asked to give the annotated bibliography, please do so that well. You have followed the citation rule as well. Exactly. See, citation is one thing, but following citation rule is another thing. Not just merely following citation rules is all what you have to do. You need to follow the citation rule. Is it Harvard referencing? Is it APA 7th edition? It is Chicago style. Whatsoever is being asked to be done by the journal or by the university or by the any other academic institution. All right, so you have to do that. Then you have not done, or I have not done self plagiarism as an author. Plus, I have run my work on any reliable plagiarism check. So, basically, this is a checklist which I have provided you for the plagiarism prevention, which will help you to get through for an assurance that my work is plagiarism free. Okay. Okay. Another is similar thing which I have done for you. Okay. All right. Referencing. Like I'm talking about referencing a lot. Citation is a lot. How come this webinar being completed without not talking about the different types of referencing at length? Please be with me. Just pay full attention here. So there are different kind of referencing. I was just talking about APA and I was just talking about different type of it. Okay, now understand here. First is APA, which is called as American Psychological Association. So here in these blue boxes, I am telling you the in-text citation. Here in these blue boxes, I'm telling you the in-text citation. Okay, here this is end referencing, the complete one. Okay, so this is the example how you should put the end referencing. This is the structure of it. Just pay attention. Example, how you should put it, the structure of it. Understood? Okay, just let's start by understanding it. First is APA style, that is American Psychological Association. So let's first understand how we put the end referencing. So first we put the surname of the author, surname, initial of the first name, initial of the middle name, if there is any. If there is no middle name, leave it. Date slash date or year of publication, article title, journal magazine title, volume, issue, pages. Okay, so volume, after volume, the issue will come in brackets. And after this, all these comma will be replaced by these full stops. After this journal title, this will come after comma. This is the example of end referencing. Understood? Now, how you put APA style referencing in text? Only the surname, comma, the year of publication. That's it. Understood? That's it. That's the rule you need to follow. And where this APA style referencing is used, mostly in social science, art, and humanities. Similarly, when you talk about Vancouver style, surname, initials, surname, initial, comma. At all means there are many. Title of the article, publication year, month and day only if available, volume number, issue number, pages. Okay, and to every reference, to the end reference, you put a number. That this is fourth number reference, this is fifth number reference, this is sixth. So that number is been given to the in-text reference. So you don't put your in-text reference like this. You just put that this number into the content. That's it in Vancouver style. Okay. Coming to Chicago style. Again, author last name, first name, year, title, name of the journal, number, issue, page number, DOI, date of issue if there is applicable. In-text citation is last name, year. MLA style, similarly, the thumb rule is given, example is given. Skeleski 20, last name, page number without punctuation, no comma. No comma. Okay, page as in which page it has been, how many pages been, or which page is been given. Okay, which page of that issue is been there. Okay, so basically here what we have seen, that this is the main aspect. Just to clarify, title and reference should be in Times Roman, Italia. Times Roman would be fine. Times Roman would be fine. There is no need to change your font style. Okay, there is no point of doing that. Okay, now basically these references which we have talking about is this is the most important aspect of you avoiding your plagiarism. This is the most important aspect of coming out of all of the plagiarism. Plus, every journal, every academic institution, they have a particular referencing style. Not adopting that also count as plagiarism, which will land you towards a rejection. Okay, which will also call you that not only you have went for a wrong referencing, but it will fall you to the category that it is plagiarized, that wrongly, wrongly cited source. Plus, your paper will not be considered for the publication. Okay, so it is very important that you choose the right referencing which has been given by the journal. Now when you go for the journal publication, every journal they give you the guidelines for authors, that what kind of authors guidelines should be given, what kind of uh, structural guidelines should be there for the authors, what kind of publication guidelines are being given for the author, what should be the font size, what should be the margin size, what should be the referencing style, and all that stuff. So it is very important for all of you as an author to take care of those. Plus, let's say you are a scholar who is going for a research project, PhD project. So every university also has a particular way of guiding your PhD thesis. That, for example, chapter number 1 or chapter number 2, each of the chapter will start from a new page. So you cannot have the chapter number 2 from the last page of chapter number what 1 itself. You need to start chapter number 2 from your new page only. Okay, your bibliography will have a fresh page, or bibliography will be arranged in an alphabetical order. All these guidelines, your title of every chapter will be times Roman 14, rest of the font will be times Roman 12, subheading will be times Roman 14, or title will be 16. All these guidelines will be are there with your university library or the respective the university department. But you need to make sure that you understand these one, because they also help you to come out of plagiarism from the structural perspective, that you have followed the structural guidelines which are being issued by either by the journals or by the academic institutions. Okay. Okay, so there are a couple of points which you need to focus, that sources which have grammatical errors, please do not cite them. Sources which are vulnerable to changes, like Wikipedia, that's what I always tell to all my students, that please don't cite sources like Wikipedia. They are not to be cited, because they are subject to be edited. They can be edited very easily. Okay. Plus, sources which they do not have reference list of their own, because you are not sure that from where their own information has come from. Okay. Plus, when you are working from information from different websites, so let's say for example, if it's a commercial website, it's .com. If it's an educational institution website, it's .edu. It's a government one, .gov. It's a network access provider, .net, and it's a non-profit organization, .org. Because if you are taking data from any of the website as well, you need to cite these websites as well. Okay, now let's come to the last section of this webinar, that is editing. Editing basically gives you a more clarity to your work. See, no matter how well cooked your dish is, if it's not well presented, you don't feel like eating it. Similarly, this well presentation is being done by editing to your work. So editing basically, gives you a correct flow to your work. It gives you correct spellings, correct grammar, correct punctuations. For instance, when you talk about substantive or content editing, it's take care of that your work has good structural flow, good style of presentation. It does not look like that any random structure is being added from anywhere, or any random sections are being added from one section to. There has to be some proper flow from one section, between one section to another section, right? So this is being ensured by manuscript editing, particularly by substantive editing. When you talk about copy editing stage, it mainly focuses on spelling, grammar, punctuation, and syntax. Okay, this primarily avoid the repetition of same word, inconsistency, as in there is a grammatical inconsistency, similar word usage, repetition of the words usage. This type of words, this type of things were being used or being avoided by copy editing stage, copy editing type of manuscript editing. Okay, now let's talk about proofreading. Now proofreading is basically when you are giving a final eye to your work. Okay, now let's say I am all done with my work. Now I need to see that is my work is publication ready, is my work submission ready, be it is your research, be it is your research paper. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to see something. Firstly is a content editing. There is a structural flow. So understand, content editing is there should be a structural flow. So when you are writing, you don't understand, something is unrequired, something is extra, you just keep on writing, right? Content editing, what does it do? It just helps you to get rid of unrequired material. Also it helps you to sometimes add some couple of lines which helps you to align or establish some connection between the paragraphs. Then comes line editing. So this is what I'm talking about. This kind of editing helps you to add some words, add some phrases, which helps you to maintain that flow. See, many times your supervisor or many times your or teacher must have told you that that the flow is missing. This flow is being by line editing. Okay, copy editing, basically it is by ensuring that you have correct grammar, style consistency is there, your if you are following APA style, MLA style, that style is being followed. And lastly, proofreading is basically you are checking the entire work wherein the page number is there. And trust me, this entire proofreading does work because let's say you in table of content has written my chapter 4 is on page number 52, but when you are actually going to 52 there's some other work has been going on. So proofreading helps you to avoid that kind of blunders. Okay, so we have just understood proofreading. So importance of proofreading is needless to say that it helps you with formatting, improves your writing, helps you to go away with grammatical errors, gives you a fresh eye on your work. Okay, all right. Now a couple of instructions which I would like to give you for your editing and proofreading, and which is that just always give some distance from the text, that um, just don't sit continuously for a long time for your proofreading. Okay, because when you're working on the same work again and again, it feels kind of boring. Okay, sit, take a break, again come, sit, take a break, again come. Okay, then if you want to like to do it on screen or paper, decide that medium. Try changing the look of the document, font size or document style. Try working away from any kind of chaos. Okay, and there is no problem in taking kind of professional help also in proofreading or editing. That's what I say, that you can always rely upon research graduate for that. All right, and lastly but not least is that editing and proofreading should not be done in a hush or hurry, because they are as important for you to complete your work just the way you have done your research. All right. uh, so these are some online proofreading tools which I have already given you in between of my webinar when we were discussing some examples. So I think Mr. Tanveer, you were not at that time when we were discussing the examples of plagiarism, at that time I was giving these proofreading tools along with the ones I have given you. These are some more. All right. So let's go back to the question and answers round. So Tanveer, Mr. Tanveer, it's okay, but I think we discussed about plagiarism, types of plagiarism with examples, how to do the rephrasing with example we discussed as well. So when you'll have the access of recording, you'll go with that as well. It's okay, no problem. Thank you, Vishali. Thank you so much. So if any question is there, please feel free to give through. Yes, Vishali, you will get it. Surely you will get it, entire thing. Yes. Yes, Alfred, you will get the PPTs, you will get the recording as well. Yes, Mr. Tanveer. In fact, not only these examples, you will get everything from YouTube. In fact, these days, there is no need to go to colleges also. Entire material is available on YouTube. I did show some practical examples where we did some original text, we did some incorrected paraphrased, and we did some corrected way of paraphrasing. See, Sanjo, yes, you want me to write the difference between plagiarism and falsification, or you want me to see when you talk about falsification? The process of falsification is when you are lying about a concept or an information. Plagiarism is not lying. You are not lying about the content. You are not just plagiarism all about when you're not giving the credit to the author, when you are not giving the acknowledgement to the author. Falsification, as I think a long back I have told you, all of you have told you, when you are not sure about any term, just go by the literal meaning of it. That is that falsification say that false information. Okay, so basically when you say that falsification, that means you are lying about an information. Okay. Okay, very soon, Vishali, very soon, very soon. Some good source YouTube for link for paraphrasing. Why you need YouTube source for paraphrasing for YouTube link, Pasha? Do it yourself. I have given you some software as well. Sanjo, ghost writing acceptable? That's a very tricky question, to be very honest. I mean, yeah, I myself uh, see, because people say that it is legal because ghostwriting is basically an outsourced service. So me as a faculty, if you'll ask me, it is acceptable. So I as a faculty will say that it is legal, but it should not be acceptable by a faculty. Thank you, Shobna. Thank you so much. Can you say one more time orally about the reference editing, ma'am? See, referencing basically is about when you are following the right kind of referencing style, which is being given by the journal or which is being given by the university, right? So what happened is every journal or every institution gives you that whatever style of referencing you need to follow. So when you are following that style of referencing, okay, that means that you are following, or that means you are avoiding that kind of plagiarism. When you are saying that reference editing is not that any kind of term. Tanveer, you can go to the PPT once you follow, once you get the PPTs, you may access to all of them. Chatbot, yes, you can say that it is to an extent. Registrar, I mean, when you say UGC care listed and Scopus journals, for which particular domain? For which particular domain you are saying? Yes, Sanjog, we have Shodh Ganga, and there are many repositories. See, Shodh Ganga is basically in India. When you say that, there every university's thesis is there. So in different countries, in like if you say that in Australia, you can say that National Library of Australia, you can find the Australian thesis. Yes. So basically every university have their own repository of their thesis. Yes, because in Shodh Ganga you find every universities. Also in ProQuest Global you may find thesis repository for global thesis. Yes, EBSCO open dissertations you may find. I'll write it here. ProQuest Global, EBSCO open. Here you will find the dissertations, global dissertation. See, in India we say thesis, in abroad we say dissertations. Okay. Edition of in-text, yes, it does matter. I have given Atendra, I have given the free version of paraphrasing tools. Yes. If we check paraphrasing, whether it will be there in the database. Teresa, I didn't get your question. Whether it will be database? In mean what do you mean by that question? National Library of Australia, in that you will find the Australian thesis, Australian dissertations. Sure, Pasha. Sure, Mr. Mohammed. Sure, I'll do that. Among West Basis, Journal Matrix, Journal Impact Factor. Two things you should go for. Journal Impact Factor is the most important thing, and journal indexing. When you are Manish, I'm telling it to you. Journal indexing, journal impact factor, journal matrix. These two, three things you should go for. Second thing, most importantly, when you are seeing that journal is claiming that we are indexed in a particular database, are they indexed or not? Go to that database, check to their indexing whether it is active or not. Okay. If your work is interdisciplinary, which format is used? Sanjog, if your work is interdisciplinary, it is completely dependent upon the journal to which you are sending your work for publication. And what are the procedure to select a journal for your paper? Firstly, you should see that what are the objectives of your paper, what are the themes of your paper. Then accordingly select the paper. You are looking for Scopus, you are looking for Web of Science, you are looking for Sage, you're looking for ABDC, which kind of papers you are, which kind of indexing you are looking for your paper, right? Then accordingly, which journals are actually aligned with your paper theme. Okay, for that, to make it more easy, go for the recent conferences in your themes. The recent conferences actually align themselves with the most popular journals. From those conferences you'll get to know the journals. See, to be very honest, there are n number of journals. It is very difficult for us also to keep a track of all those journals, that what all and how many journals are there. So in order to avoid this glitch and confusion, what you have to do is that go and look for the latest conferences happening in your domain. Take a look that what all journals in which these conferences are actually publishing your work or the published work. There you will get the idea of the journals. Gauri Negi, I think, and others who are asking me the UGC care listed journals, because see, for example, solar energy research. This is, to be very honest, this is, or to be very honest, I'm a management professional, so this is not my area. But to be very honest, you will easily get this list of journals on their website only, and you will find this. Name of journals there, because like I said, there are n number of journals, there are n number of domains there. So person like me, who is very restrictive in solar energy research, you must be knowing better than me, or your supervisors would be the better person, who can tell you the right kind of journals in your domain. Like, if a better trick, if I'll tell you that every domain, if it's education, solar energy, biomedical, management, by management, or botany, or English, every management has a journal by itself name, like journal of management, journal of education, journal of solar energy. This is the best I can tell you for solar energy. Rest, I think your supervisor would be the best person to get in touch with for this. All right, so I think you should ask him. Okay. All right. So AI content, how can I remove it? Is again, you need to rephrase for AI content. Also, you need to rephrase. Yeah. Yeah. Karan, you need to go back to the chat, and there are some in the slides also. On the Scopus database website, you will get the list of the Scopus indexed, all of you who are interested in Scopus journals. On the Scopus database website, you will get an Excel sheet where all the Scopus listed indexed journals are there of different domains. You'll find a choice of yours. Okay. So you may choose which is your domain and which is your choice of journal. Okay, so you can go for it. All right, so next question is, which impact factor is considered to be a good? See, generally when we calculate the impact factor, we calculate the impact factor for a journal on a score of 10. Now, in general, the impact factor of 10 is good, but there are certain journals which have an impact factor of 3, 4, 5. They are considered to be really good. So it depends upon your domain. Okay, so 3 is also good, 4 is also good, like I said. Manish, this depends upon the journal to journal. Shivangi, I have told you the journal, the paraphrasing tools, they are free. Sanjog, I mean, this is something, I mean, you have hit the right chord. Actually, the whole process is too mechanical and too the emphasis on procedure, right? Because I'll tell you why. Because this thing, we as faculty, we were discussing. I started this thing, that how we were discussing that how students are giving us the ghost creative, the ghost written assessment. That's why I didn't use this term there, because I didn't know that how many of you were knowing an AI generative uh, content. Because the ultimate procedural focus is on completion of work, is to mechanical. Let us get rid of the work, is not on original creativity, not only in India, not only in abroad, everywhere. So you have rightly picked up or rightly hit the. That's why I can very clearly differentiate between our times of doing the research a decade back, in the times of you people are doing the research, it is very, very, very different. Though we had the access of internet, but it was not that vast the way it is today, right? So yes, it is all mechanical. The focus is on procedure rather than the creation of it. So when the focus will be on original creativity, the focus will not be on the end results but on the learning. Yes. uh Thank you so much. Shivangi, I have given you in the chat box. Go back, you will find it. Vaishali, you'll go on the Scopus database link. There, every year, they will give you an Excel sheet where the Excel sheet have the Scopus listed journal of all the domain, which has the Scopus active journals of all the Scopus listed journal with them. Okay, so there they have all the detail of the journals which are indexed with Scopus, which are not even indexed with Scopus. That's why I say that those journals which claim to be Scopus indexed, they will also be listed there. Which are not there, they will also be listed there. Sanjog, what of creative originality? I think that people like you will foster it again. Yes. Tech skills with Poonam, the process which I told just to Vishali, you can also follow the same. And then you can go back to the journal homepage. First you find the journal name from Scopus website, right? Then you go to the homepage of that journal, and then you find the process of publication, right? All right. Thank you, everyone. It's always very good to interact with all of you, and it's always very informative for me as well. And I'm really impressed with the way, Sanjog, you think, and how you think that original Samson accidental plagiarism can only be avoided by having a relook on your work again and again and again. Yes. Atendra, let me just go back to just. All those who wanted the names of these softwares again. Shazi, first start writing the paper. Thank you, Father. First start writing the paper. Plagiarism comes when you are in the process of writing. So now you know what is plagiarism, how plagiarism comes. So avoid all the ways, cite the source, do not copy the content, and now you guys are way ahead of AI plagiarism. I can't say that, don't make use of AI, but limit the use of AI. Okay, limit the use of AI, because see, AI has a information reservoir, but you need to understand that AI also has it does not have a vast knowledge till a beyond number of years. It only has a specific reservoir of knowledge which we people only have fed it to it. It cannot give you beyond that. Okay. All right. So thank you everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar once again. And this was a very good start of year 2025. So let us give a shout out to 2025. And with this, we will be seeing you all again in yet another webinar, which will be conducted soon, and you all will be notified. This recording, PPT, certificates will be given to you all. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a very good evening and have a very creative research. Thank you so much.